Okay, let's get right into it. If you're someone who stares at an overflowing kitchen sink on a random Tuesday night, sighs heavily, and instantly reaches for your phone to fire up a food delivery app, well, this explainer is exactly what you've been waiting for. We are tackling a massive point of friction for so many of us today, which is figuring out how to feed ourselves well without it feeling like a second full-time job. Today, we're demystifying healthy eating, and we're breaking down how to get 5 meals in just 30 minutes. We're tossing out the complicated rulebooks, we're ditching the towering stacks of dirty dishes, and we're diving into a hyper-efficient system derived straight from our source material that promises maximum results with literally minimum effort.
So do you hate cooking but still want to eat healthy? Look, it's a dilemma so many of us face, especially if your current culinary skill set basically starts and ends with hitting start on the microwave or, occasionally burning water. For a long time, the wellness industry has basically pushed this narrative that if you don't naturally love spending hours julienning vegetables, you're just doomed to eat processed junk forever. But our source material completely rejects that idea. This is specifically for you absolute beginners out there who get exhausted just thinking about cooking. We're looking at a method that promises absolutely no fancy recipes, no all-day prep, and relies purely on simple ingredients to achieve zero stress. If you have never successfully cooked a complex meal in your life, you're in the perfect place. We're about to change the game.
Section 1. Cook less, eat better.
To make this work, we have to completely reset how you think about meal preparation. I mean, the phrase meal prep usually conjures up some pretty intimidating imagery, right? The traditional method is this huge myth that healthy eating requires giving up your entire Sunday, trapping yourself in the kitchen surrounded by a dozen simmering pots and ridiculously complex instructions. Honestly, it's exhausting just talking about it, which is exactly why most beginners completely give up by week 2. Now compare that to this system. 30 minutes, zero stress, no fancy recipes. The source material emphasizes that healthy eating does not demand a weekend sacrifice. We are replacing that grueling all-day Sunday marathon with a lightning-fast sprint that gets you the exact same outcome, if not, a better one. The secret to bridging that gap is a brilliant little concept called batch building. Now, I want you to completely erase the word cooking from your vocabulary for a second. Got it? As an absolute beginner, you are not a chef today, you are an assembler. Batch building just means we're preparing foundational ingredients all at the same time, which can then be effortlessly mixed and matched into multiple different meals later on. We're completely shifting the paradigm from cooking a meal from scratch every night to simply assembling a meal from ready-to-go components. It completely eliminates daily decision fatigue.
And the absolute golden rule of this system revolves around the number 3. To build a complete meal, you really just need 3 foundational pillars: 1 protein, 1 carb, and 1 veggie. That's the whole shebang. You don't need a 20-ingredient grocery list, you just need those 3 core elements. And as our source material points out, the real trick is that they'll be assembled differently every single time you eat them, so you literally never get bored.
Section 2. The 30-minute setup. 30. That is the only number you need to focus on right now. The source material tells us to physically set a timer for 30 minutes. You aren't going to be stuck in the kitchen for hours on end, you have a hard stop at the half-hour mark. And while that timer runs, we're going to do 3 highly efficient things at the exact same time. Now, multitasking might sound a little intimidating to a beginner, but I promise you, the way this system breaks it down is practically effortless.
So here's exactly how that 30 minutes plays out in 3 simultaneous steps. Step 1 is your protein. You don't need to, butcher a whole chicken. The source suggests tossing pre-cut chicken tenders, tofu cubes, or hey, even just opening up a can of beans right into a pan. Step 2 is your carb. We are leaning hard into modern convenience here. Just microwave your rice, microwave your quinoa, or quickly boil some pasta. Step 3 is veggies, and this is where it gets incredibly easy. Just dump a bag of frozen vegetables straight onto a sheet pan and roast them at high heat in the oven. That's it. While the veggies roast and the carbs microwave, your protein cooks on the stove. 3 simple actions happening concurrently, utilizing the stove, the microwave, and the oven all at once to absolutely maximize your time.
And if you're feeling any lingering anxiety about this, just remember this golden rule from the source material. No chopping, no measuring, no stress. This is the true beauty of this beginner-focused system. By using pre-cut proteins, microwavable grains, and frozen vegetables, you entirely eliminate the most tedious, frustrating parts of traditional cooking. There's no precise measuring of spices, there's no finely dicing onions while crying over the cutting board. It is pure, straightforward setup.
Section 3. Build 5 instant meals.
The timer goes off, the heat is off, and just like that, the setup phase is complete. Once everything is cooked and sitting on your counter, you instantly have the components for 5 distinct meals. You literally just did 30 minutes of basically hands-off prep, and you are rewarded with an entire work week's worth of lunches or dinners. This right here is the incredible leverage of the batch building system.
Let's look at how this magic actually happens in practice. Notice how we mix and match these basic parts. In Meal 1, you take your microwaved rice, add the cooked chicken, toss in some of those roasted veggies, and hit it with some soy sauce. Boom, done. Now look at Meal 2. We use pasta, grab the canned beans, throw in some spinach, and add jarred pesto. It's a completely different flavor profile. Move down to Meal 4. We go back to the rice and beans, but this time we add salsa and shredded cheese for a totally different Mexican-inspired bowl. Meal 5 uses the pasta and chicken again, but with marinara and parmesan for an Italian twist. Because the base ingredients are already fully cooked, every single one of these meals takes under a minute to assemble. You're basically just playing food Lego.
Section 4. Flavor without effort.
A beginner's absolute biggest fear is usually that meal prep means eating bland, boring, sad food by Wednesday. So, what's the secret weapon? Relying on store-bought powerhouse flavors. The source material highlights 3 essential sauces you should always keep on hand: pesto, teriyaki, and salsa. These sauces instantly transform basic, plain ingredients into food you actually want to eat. You don't need to know how to build a complex sauce from scratch. Just let the jars and bottles do the heavy lifting for you. A spoonful of pesto completely changes the DNA of your bowl compared to a splash of teriyaki.
And that beautifully summarizes everything we've covered in this explainer. You don't need to love cooking to eat well, you just need a system. This is the absolute ultimate takeaway for any beginner. You can completely decouple the idea of eating healthy from the idea of being some passionate, classically trained chef. The system we've outlined, batch building simple ingredients for 30 minutes and assembling them with different flavor profiles, it entirely replaces the need for culinary skills. It guarantees 5 meals in 30 minutes with absolutely zero burnout.
Which brings us to our final thought, and a little bit of a challenge for you. You have 30 minutes. What are your 5 meals going to be? The source material essentially dares you to try this system tonight and see firsthand just how easy healthy eating can actually be. So when you look at your kitchen later today, don't think about complex recipes. Just think about 1 protein, 1 carb, 1 veggie, and 30 minutes on the clock. What combinations will you build? Start simple, trust the system, and go reclaim your time.